Hey, when I got some eyes. Okay. I thought what we do today was sort of a movement. Let me start with your arm. Okay. Movement. Now, for example, I'm moving the arm. The arm moves. The arm moves. Of course, the arm moves. This movement in the hips, the back. All right. And there's a feeling of a flow in that motion. Different. I'm moving the arm. I'm getting a little bit more flow. There's flow. There's flow. Flow. Include both arms in that motion. You know, form. Yeah, that's good. So a while, this moves, but this complements it. Okay, I'm understanding it. It's a form. What other movements are possible? The two flow together. They flow together. If you've got a professional sports team, you have an offense, you have a defense. It's kind of nice when the defense does its job, gives the ball to the offense. It's like when the offense, you know, is really clicking, so the defense doesn't have to strain itself. So, you know, talking right, left. Oh, okay. And it's almost like when you do that, that gesture continues out. Then, okay, so it's done. Or it can change. You continue, or it can change. And arms out there, the hips back in that motion. Hips and back in that motion. Back in that motion. Obvious. On the other hand, you know, that motion has a lot of little motions in it, like it's a spiral. It's a spiral form. But you don't see in the form, the aliveness, the okay, so standing for a second. Okay, now let's just say that, you know, we're working the arms. You've got your hips. Okay, I'm twisting the hips to move them, which means come on. I'm trying to do it. The hips move. The hips have their own sort of flow. Oh. Forcing the hips. No? Oh, David, you got a class. Well, hip movement oftentimes, you know, for example, there's a big movement in the hands, but there's a little movement in the hips. Little movement in the hips that sets up the big movement in the hand. Now, if I'm just in a pattern, that's good. I'm moving the hips, but the hips, after a while, they kind of move themselves. Move themselves. So boom, 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 boom. And lift your ankle. My hips are locked. Easy, 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 easy. So little motion in the hips translates into a big motion in the hands. That's good, but the hips support that motion. Okay, easy. And underneath, there's kind of a nice, easy sense of ground. I'm trying to move the hips with no ground. I jerk, I twist. Okay. One of the things that I want to do, let's say he's coming in fast, just like a little motion. Now he's coming in fast. I try a little motion and nothing happens right there. In fact, I get knocked on my butt, all right? But there's a little motion that we're kind of using the term now, slithering. 49ers, Mr. Irrelevant, not the fastest guy. But the pass rush comes, and he has the ability to extend the play. Okay? Now, the hips represent a small movement. You see the big movement in the hands, but the hips are, right? So one of the things that he grabs is a big movement, the hips, and then that means the slither. Okay? This represents kind of like a pass rush. The little subtle movements of the hips set up the bigger movement in the hand. All I've got is a form. Now the hips move. All right. Okay, so we're just going to start with that movement. Loosen the hips up. Easy ground, feel your feet, but don't put them in concrete. Little movement of the hips. Hips are ball and socket joints. Twisting the hips. Use your hands to represent the ball and socket joint. Little movement. I can go this way and that way. I can go that way and this way. I can go that way, this way, this way. And just shifting the weight, just subtly in the feet. But if he's coming, it's like so much of Aikido is understanding how little subtle movement of the hips translates into big movement of the hands. Okay, and this one, see, we're slithery, not sneaky. Slithery. Okay, so let's start out. Big movement in the hands, little movement in the hips, set that up. Okay, let's start out with a partner. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things we're doing, we're over here, just easy motion, almost like it's a dance class. All right. Buddha. What Bruce Lee said. He said, if you can't dance, you can't do kung fu. He was cha-cha champion in high school. Hips, but easy ground. Okay, now when he holds, the hands are a big motion, little firmer arms, you feel it, little firmer arms, you feel it. Little motion hips, big movement hands. Okay? So, hips, little motion, big motion, yeah. The tendency to try to make the big motion out here, let's for something easier. So I may, you try to move this, you're in the big movement. Move the hips. Okay, good. All right? Okay. Now you're starting from the set position. You have a set. I'm learning the movement. Good. I'm not learning the movement, I'm learning about me. Okay? You're tall. It's a basketball game. I'm going to foul you because you can't make a foul shot. Most tall guys, you have trouble. You know, they can dunk and everything. I'm going to foul you, get you the foul line where you can be nervous and set and worry about it and miss. Okay? Curry has no set. Even when he's not moving, he's not set. You know, if he's charging a little bit, slithering. How do you get open? I don't know. Curry just seems to move a little different. Okay? So the same thing right here. Loosen your hips up. This is a big motion. What movements are big? The movement of the hips. Movement of the hips. Now I'm thinking about moving the hips. The hips move. Bruce Lee said it. If you can't dance, you can't do kung fu. Probably, even though the Japanese culture is much more rigid. Yeah, he laughs because he knows it. You know, move your hips. Okay. Then we'll yeah. Okay. Now grab me, hold me strong. It's a big movement. Little movement hips, big movement hands. Micro, macro. Okay. Free up the hips. You know, don't be in a set position. Even thinking about the hips is a set. Easy. Free it up. Free it up. Free it up. Free it up. Now you're trying. That's a big movement. You're in the big movement already. That's the weakness of form. You learn how it looks, how it's supposed to be, and we get a certain amount of strength in it. Move your hips. Move your hips. Now you're thinking about it. Move your hips. Let the hips move. They move. If he's coming in this way, that's a little bit. Boom. I'm doing the form. Boom, 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 boom. Easy. Easy. Now you're moving your shoulders, move your hips first. Good. Now you got the zone there. That's where you want to live. Clear this out. No too much. Feel. Bruce Lee was cha-cha champion of his high school in Hong Kong. Easy movement. Easy movement. That's good. Move. Big defender, athletic defender. Curry wiggles before there's anything. From 30 feet, nothing but net. And he's kind of floating in a nice, calm space. And the little movement of the hips triggers the big movement. What we see is a big movement, but we don't see how flexible he is. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Now, one of the things let's do this. Let's put the row there because we are taping this, And after 2 years, I finally realized watching myself, like, this doesn't come across. Okay, why? Because remember, this way, it blocks the camera that's over there. Okay. Now, one of the things, the theme of it, little movement, subtle, little movement. Bruce Lee said, if you can't dance, you can't do kung fu. Okay. He was cha-cha champion of his high school. He could move. He spent most of his life realizing that when he had too much of a form, he was rigid. So he. See what it is? We see the big movement, but we don't see the little movement. Boom! It sets that big movement up. If he's coming in this way, we see the big movement, but we don't see the little movement. That's just the big movement. Now we're trying to work totally backwards. Because you're supposed to do the big movement until you either wear your body out or you bottom out and you discover this. And I'm saying a little bit, why don't we start here? Okay, I'm going to move the hips. I'm going to study hips. The hips move. The hips move, my feet move. Okay? Hips move, the feet move. Hips move, the feet move. You see the big movement of the feet or the hands, but the hips, set that up. Hips flexible. Flexible. Try that a little bit. Hips move, feet move. Hips move, feet move. Hips move, feet move, hands move. The little move sets up the big move. Okay? We see the big move and try to copy it. Good. But let's see if we can have Stephen Curry hips. Stephen Curry hips. Boom, boom. Now a lot of basketball is lateral motion. Aikido is a little bit like where he's coming in destruction. I just turned forward back motion into a lateral motion, didn't I? That's your entering movement. Okay. Entering. Turning. That's where it's taught. But easy. Easy. Now, as I get the freedom, which is, again, I'm moving the hips. The hips know how to move themselves if we don't get in the way. So I starts to be a little easier with itself. We're a little bit more like, we're not doing martial arts. We're in a dance class. Free and easy. I'm your dance teacher saying, come on, do all these martial arts and you're a rigid robot. Easy. Easy, 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 easy. The hips move, the feet move. The hips move, the feet move. And now it goes the other way. I see a form, I'm in the big movement, but the hips move and the feet move. Hips move, the feet move. Hips move, the feet move. Good. Now the hips move, feet move, the hands move. Oh, I get this first, and then I learn a little bit about that. It takes me decades to actually get to my core. Easy, easy. The big move is set up with a little movement, and that little movement is kind of in your hips core. Boom, 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 boom. Whatever the movement is, okay? So if we were to go back to this is the big movement. Okay, little movement, set that up. Okay, I see, I'm gonna look this and then try that. No. Come on in. Free and easy. Loose but not sloppy. Yeah, we're doing a form. The old, I'm talking, you know, in the 60s, right? Somebody's here, you go, hiya, like you're a martial artist, you go, oh no. But you go hiya now, and everybody goes, okay, piece of cake. Okay, too rigid. Okay. You're cool. Here, things are hot and pressure. Cool. See the room. From then we maybe go into that room. Okay. A big move, a little move. That's a big move up. And now another big move. Okay. Let's keep the same partner. Basic blend form. What's the little move that creates the big move, the form? Okay. Yeah, that's good. See, you're coming in this way. Little move, boom, little move. Big move over here. Little move, boom, boom. Hey. Yeah, we'll go. Boom, boom, little move. Feel your hips. Just like, I'm starting to move. Yeah, I'm starting to start that way. No, the hips just start to move, don't they? Move the hips, the feet move. Hips move, feet move, hands move. We go back, big movement out there, I'm going to learn a form. Well, what's the form supposed to teach us? Just teach you something about yourself. Again, we're free and easy, but not sloppy. Oh, he's coming a little motion, little motion, little motion. Just a big motion. I'm going to fall in love with a big motion, get enough muscle to enforce it. Just call the police state. Right? Well, I don't want that. I want a democracy. Right? Well, people should run things, not institutions, too, is a little nasty. But we got to educate people because nobody really wants to see the big picture. How do I feel? Loose, free, easy. My perception of things is a little deeper. Okay, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, the other thing right there. Move the hips. That's a little motion you don't see. You don't see that. You don't see that motion. What you do see is the big motion. All right, so right here, stay where you are. I don't want to see that first motion, but you're cool. You're cool. Your power is inside you. And the big motion. Good. Huh? Okay, now, when you think about turning the hips, it's not a free motion. Just move them. Do it, move it. Now you're doing a form. The whole form is based on motion. That's why, okay, now it's too big. Watch me here. Do it again. Yeah. Okay, good. The big motion is in your hands. But a little motion that's inside you sets up the bigger motion. You see what I mean? Now, if you make a form of a little motion, it doesn't do any good. Move your hip. Again, Bruce Lee said, if you can't dance, you can't do Kung Fu. You could say, if you can't dance, you can't do Aikido. All right? The dance is not necessarily on the dance floor. Okay, now right there. We're going out and boom, 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 boom. All movement is set up from little movements. Now the movements are big. Okay, now right there, easy. The hips move. They're good. You'll know it because you don't feel my weight. If you start the big movement, which is the movement out here, you feel my weight all the way. So you try to put more weight into your movement. Well, your hips weigh something. Your body, the muscles there move very freely in almost any situation. Okay? Don't move. Just move your hips. Now I know you're moving this. Isolate the hips. Just move them. Now, without moving this, he's trying to get you in the big outer movement. No, you're too quick here. No, grab. What I'm feeling is you can't move this without moving this. You can move. Just come. Move. No, don't move this at all. Just move you. No, you can't move you. Move you without moving this. Move your hips. I'm shaking. Move your hips. Move your hips. Good. Move your hips. Okay, now let your arm just hang. Move your hips. Now the other movement starts. Otherwise, you start the movement out here, we're starting it backwards. Although that's where we start because we see the form. Okay? All right? Yeah. Again, Bruce Lee, you can't dance, you can't do Kung Fu. You might say if you can't dance, you can't do Aikido. Okay? Okay. All right, let's go here. Now, one of the things, for example, if we I know I've been hypnotized when I can't get out of the cycle. What's the hypnosis? I see the outer form of it, but I don't see the inner thing. What's the purpose of the outer form? Just to get you to an interior place. I kind of like it because I'm freer. Okay? Now, the statement, Bruce Lee, if you can't dance, you can't do Kung Fu. I think you could say if you can't dance, you can't really do Aikido. And dance is a term that oftentimes is the idea of a dance. Other people that make Aikido into that. But, the term dance in sports, Stephen Curry dances. He dances when 7-footers are trying to clog him, and he dances. We're mentioning, because he's on the news a lot, as Mr. Irrelevant, 49er quarterback. He's not fast, but he's quick, and he slithers, and he dances under pressure. He's cool. Joe Montana was not the best athlete on the field, although he was pretty good, but he knew how to dance. Colin Kaepernick, incredible athlete, could throw the ball 60 yards for a first down or could run 90 yards for a touchdown, couldn't dance. Never learned to dance. And most of the times, like scouts looking at athletes, Curry, too small to be a shooting guard. I don't know if he's a point guard. Yeah, he missed. Didn't see how he could dance under pressure. Okay, and so what does that get us? It gets us, we're cool. The other good, we're cool under me. Once you caught me outer and I'm just going nuts. And I can't stand it because I'm a woman in a world that's chauvinistic and I can't get anything. Cool. And then the weight of the world, free. You're free, you're cool. Now, we're not totally free, but within your space, you're touching your freedom, which means you're touching your power. You're cool. Too rigid. Little movement sets up a bigger motion. Big motion. Little motion sets up a big motion. Watching the Mr. Irrelevant guy, I don't watch the games, but I've been following it, because it's a great story. And so I actually started looking at highlights. Big pass rush. He kind of stumbles here, creates space, shows a short pass for a touchdown. Broken rhythm. Reaction. Cool under pressure, broken rhythm. Cool under pressure, broken rhythm. Good dance. Situation coming, pressure coming, cool, under pressure. Cool. Free. You know how to dance, you slither. Curry slithers. Mr. Irrelevant is a slitherer. Joe Montana was too. Okay, those are archetypes, they're athletes, but they represent a type of an energy that we all possess. It's just most of us are too caught out here on the weight of things. Women are caught in a sexist world. Intellectuals are often caught and looked down upon because the culture, strength, and masculinity. So we're going to step into the zone, so to speak. You can't teach this because you make it a form. But everybody has the potential for it. And if you want to be caught in the world of appearances out here, you get caught there because appearances are oftentimes deceptive. This is more the hidden realm of energy movement. And where is it? It's inside you. And then, of course, you see it out there. Okay? You see what I mean? You got to find it in here to find it out there. So, a little bit right here. Yep. Keep the same partner just for one more turn. Okay. Let's go. See if I can set the timer. What do? We set it in increments. That's not that side. It's for this side. Now, what are the things that right now? Wait. Look. The number of rhythms out here are almost infinite. I'll go back. Oh, this stuff. That's one of the weaknesses of form. Is we get the big, but we don't get the inner content that's just the bigger. And a couple of people have a little bit of, they want to owning most of the wealth in the world, and they create a horrible economic structure, which creates a horrible dysfunctional political structure. And so we got the world. Everybody's got this. Everybody's got this. The power is inside them. We give it away to whoever it is because Billionaire. I remember when millionaire, remember that. No, it doesn't. Right? Easy. See it. Now you got the ending of it. Sure, we're gonna go this way, that way, whatever. Breathe up. Breathe up. Breathe up. That's a nice big movement that you're saying yourself. You know? You don't have to do that. You can just flip it to Clay Thompson for 30-foot three. He's very good. Somebody you got real power, you say, let me stir. I've got it, you don't quite, and I'm gonna let you know that. You know what I mean? Easier, come on, easier. Better. Now looser. Not floppy, looser. Now I'm gonna ask you to do a little bit to your kind of other rhythms. You're like this. Good, good, good. That works. Now investigate other rhythms. Other rhythms, you know, and then you're using the form to explore you. You see what I mean? That's what we're supposed to do. Again, those guys say, oh, I want to do Aikido with these. That's funny, nobody else does. Because, you know, he was talking about self-exploration. You know, yeah, he had the moves and techniques, which are important. And then he comes into structure, go this way, go this way, go this way. We have a movement, you know? We go this way, we go this way, and there's a little motion, here's the big motion, doesn't it? I mean, it's, yeah, we got to learn to move. Yeah. Ah, easier. The world's your own dance party. Well, just the universe was his dance party. Oh, how many different tunes? You like Latin? You got Latin. You know, you got boom, boom, boom. You want some salsa? You got salsa. Boom. Okay, boom. Whole universe out there because there's a whole universe in there. Okay? Okay, you're tall. That's good. I wish I was. So there's up down in motion. Up down. You're tall. You know, you're gonna block my shot. Boom. You're gonna block my shot. So I use the punch. Good. Right? Listen, yeah, I mean, I think it's beautiful, this guy, Mr. Romans, because he picks one. Nothing outwardly impressive, except he's really cool under pressure. He makes great reads and incredible in the moment intelligence. You come in this way, good. You know, you come in this way. I'm crowded at the pass rush. I can't make it. No, boom, put it over here. Okay. Doesn't have to run 100 yards. All he's going to do is create enough space and time to find one of his great receivers. He makes everybody better. I got to be the hero. No, he gets noticed now because, you know, he was so, this is a great story. If you're coming in, it's like, boom, 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 no, great. Touchdown. I know I had to throw it with my left hand, but so what? You know, but it's set up, you know, for your, you need to be up alone of it, right? And down. Because other than that, you're going to be tall, which is great. You got reach, but you don't have the base and ground. But loose and easy, not held this way. It's nice. You play around a little bit. You only find it if you play. If you try to do it, you know, I'm going to try to coach you to be smoother. You can't. How does he do that? Well, he does it. If you try to copy him, no, you have your own strength. Okay, that's a weakness for him. Go, just hurry up down, up down to the hips. Good. Now that's a big move. I want you to go little move. See, this gets too obvious after a while. Boom, 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 boom. How many different forms are there here, man? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Right? See, there's no form there. So what happens when I get caught up in the form, I lose me. Again, Bruce Lee said it, if you can't dance, you can't do Kung Fu. I think we could say, yeah, we don't want to be, we're going to go to Aikido and do a dance class. No, a little bit more simple. You know, people come running at those times, they just disappear. He didn't go anywhere. He just was in a different zone. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Ah! Right? And he was so free and fluid that, you know, you, yeah, you spent years of form, but on the other hand, when you're doing the form, you're probably different, right? Takeda says, you know, I'm going to teach you, he's teaching people, I'm going to teach you privately. He didn't do that for everybody. And he was with Takeda for about a month. He disappeared in Hokkaido. What happened to Mr. Ueshiba? You don't know. Oh, he came back. Oh, he was with Takeda. Okay. Many other people followed him. They were around for years and never got what Shiba did. And just like boom, 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 boom. Easy. Easy. Well, they never become robots. Osensei didn't want us to do that. Aikido is he called it free democracy. We're all equal. No, we're not. I put 6 at best, and I got 13. No, we're not talking about how high you come for. The vertical leap is right here. We're talking about, you know, discovering who we truly are. Through the movement. It's subtle. I want you to play around with it because you're tall. I wish I had your height. But you get caught up here and you're trying to get down, you're really down. If you're really trying to find is your freedom, your freedom to be you. Your idea will look different than mine. As it should. Okay? All right. Okay, all right. I used to watch Terry Dobson, you know, and there's movements for, here's a big guy, I'm not that big. He played linebacker for Penn State, you know, big, high profile football program. He went to the Marines. And he was just getting so hard, you know, that sort of toxic masculinity. And I was Terry. Yeah, you know, occasionally, you know, you see it come out. Okay, Terry, I'm sorry. Right? But he was cool. Terry was cool. Okay? And what I'm saying a little bit with that is, you know, he just said, you know, football, Marines, big guy. He said, you know, I'm dying here. Part of him knew that. He was an artist. I'm dying here. It's bigger, faster, stronger, more authority, more structure. And so he sees Osensei. Sees Aikido. He says, you know, that's going to save my life. Okay? What does that mean? Well, you know, you fit into a structure. That's why in a lot of ways, you know, the Brock Purdy's and the Stephen Curry's are kind of cool because they know how to dance. And we're not talking about she's attacking and I'm dancing. The dance comes through you. Go this way. Go this way. Which way is Curry going to go? He's going to shoot it. He's going to pass it. He's going to dribble it. If he passes it, where's he going to go? He's fluid. The defenders are trying to find him And there's Steph being very cool. He knows how to dance. Now, I'm not talking about Aikido as a dance class, but it's supposed to teach us how to dance, which means we find our truer self through the practice. So here, entering, joining. The thing is, he knows when he's being dominated and controlled. Curry doesn't do that to people. He includes them in something. Clay can be more Clay. Draymond can be more. He's got other geniuses on his team. Draymond dances in his own way. Clay dances in his own way. But there's Curry that everybody's playing off of, including the other team. So we'll come here, like boom. And this is the Tenkan motion. Okay? Let's change partners. We're going to a form. But we could easily do this. We could easily do this. We could do this. We could go here. There's a lot of things right there. You see what I mean? The form is just encapsulation in the moment. It's the big movement. But we're looking for the little interior movement, the freedom, the dance. Or it turns the form into not a stupid dance, but a dance. Okay? Let's change partners. Why don't you look over there a little bit? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, in ZK, for example, you'll kind of notice, when you'll be up and down like this. Be up and down. I missed something. Change where I need something out of it. Okay? Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. We can go into another form that need be, or we go into another form that be. Form is like a suit of clothes. You wear the same one all the time, even though you think you change it to the same shape. Your wardrobe, first line is the non-wardrobe. It's not a matter. Whatever the movement happens to be, it's a movement of emotion. It's taken up and down. But Terry used to say this to people, we have black belt tests, which they know get into a little bit. And he just told the candidate, he says, I don't see you out there. I see somebody doing a form on it. And so, one of the things, you got to learn the movement, but you got to learn you. Whatever happens to be. Now we're dancing. Azuke, it's fun to be in that dance. You kind of, chances are, it's just a pickup game and Stephen Curry's there, they're just fun. I never know when I'm going to get the ball. He doesn't hoard it. It gives me a chance to do something, and then all of a sudden he's out there. So, gee, everybody's paying attention to him. It's pretty easy for me. You see what I mean? That area right there. So, that area. UK is like a teammate, so to speak. You see what I mean? So you kind of want to include UK in the dance experience. And this can be done really badly. Aikido's a dance. No, Aikido's a dance. This is the Latin salsa number. And I'm not going to walk around. We're the dojo that kind of walks. But we'll think on here. We'll make something out of this story. Okay, great. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes a good one, you don't know why they fell. This means it's good. If you know they fell because you put your weight into it just to learn how it is, yeah, that's the step we all go through to some degree. What happens when you do that, we get caught up in it. And yeah, you find that, certain people you don't want to train with, because all they were trying to do is treat you like a specimen, right? And then, right here, again, it's a dance. It's a dance. And if you're coming in this direction, come on, good. All right, we'll go this way. Yeah, it's a dance. You're moving. It's a part of the dance. That's so good. They always take what did I do? It's not that, we label it something, but like sports, Curry dances. He really dances. It's very fun. His teammates, when it's going, they're dancing with him. The other team is dancing too. They just don't know what's happening. All right. So if the movements are certain way, okay, we go this way. We go this way. Oh, we got this. We go this. Oh, we got this. Okay. It's all orchestrated through you. You see what I mean? And there's no sense, even though I'm the authority figure per se, you're in my dance, but I'm teaching you how to dance. You see what I mean? Yeah. So but Osensei found this. Most people didn't want to know how to dance. They just wanted to see the form and get stronger. That's why he told me those things. It's just funny. You want to do Aikido like me? Nobody else seems to. Much better culture for it. This one, Japanese culture is really good in certain ways, but what happens is that the people that are really good, they get extremely good, like the Oshibo, and most people get caught up in the heaviness of the form. So we're not. It's a lot easier for us to some degree. For me, I talk to L's because you have a lot of problems. It's probably your Japanese upbringing. I said, no, it's not my Japanese upbringing. It's my Japanese American upbringing. Because that generation, they're even more traditional in certain ways than the original. How come you don't do that? How come we don't do this? Come on. I get it because whatever. Yeah, I just so. We all have it. You know what I mean? This goes through a little freer the dialogue around it. Right. And that's good in its own way. It kind of teaches discipline in a certain way. The whole purpose of discipline is to become free. And sometimes you can't take the discipline. What Bruce Lee found is, I'm going to do this for 2,000 punches, but this is a horrible position. Yeah, it kind of teaches you to get down a little bit. So he studied Muhammad Ali, who knew how to dance. Ali could dance. You see what I mean? Elite. And he was Shiba or saying, if you watch him, he dances. And when we're dancing, we're not fighting. You see what I mean? When you make a country, it's almost like when you make a company or a team dance. When you make a nation, when you make the population of the world dance as supposed to fight. Well, that's I think what they wanted guys were supposed to do. There's superiority. He says women picked it up quicker. He himself said, I am not the father of Aikido, I'm the mother of Aikido. It's very advanced. Okay? Well, yeah. Little mercy. Little mercy from the little mercy. Movement within the movement. There's a movement. There's a movement within that. There's a movement within that. There's within that. Right? Movement. Movement within the movement. Movement within the movement within the movement. A lot of times, a lot of times. Then the dance is like an eternal present. There's no past, present, or future. It's just now. Easy. If I'm a police officer, I want to pull my gun out or go from a nightstick. Yeah, I may need to do that, but I don't want to do that too quick. And I also don't want to be asleep, and I should. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's just say that we go into, let's change the little movement. We see this, but we don't see the little movement that sets up the big movement. The form is the big movement. The little movement is kind of more the intelligence that sets the big movement up. And we get sometimes really good at the big movement, but the danger there is to become robotic. And the term in this culture is fundamentalist. I'm right, but I'm so narrow and so rigid that you can't stand it. You see what I mean? We laugh at that here. It's a much looser culture. Loose is not sloppy. There's a purpose to the structure of it. But, I think Osensei, what is Aikido? It's kind of a harmony, which means I think you wanted people to dance as opposed to fight in a martial setting. And in the process of letting go of certain concepts of what martial arts are, we let go of certain unnecessary things we hold on to about who we are and what reality is. And if the world danced together, it wouldn't have this stupidity of fundamentalism and nationalism. You wouldn't, why in the world does Putin want to? Well, he's caught in a war he started, he shouldn't have started. No, yeah, he can't back out and lose face. Okay? But he's destroying our economy, the economy of the world, just for his own stupidity. And if I said that to him, I'd be in prison. That's power. Okay? But if we could dance together, we might come to an accord. We still have our differences. But instead of shoulder, form, little motion sets that up. Okay, I got it. I put my weight there. Here comes in destruction. Now, right when that big hit comes, you're free in the hips, you're softer, you have more wisdom, and man, I never had to ground my daughter. Okay, but at a certain point with parents might say, so Nikyo motion, right? Come on in. Right. Okay, we do this, and what was that? I'm trying to do it. It doesn't work. The little movement sets up the big movement. Comes in this way. Already. Now here we shift. It looks like, when you got a good dance partner, you almost breathe together. Okay, so let's shift to the Nikyo motion. That's the big picture. But the real picture is what's going on inside you. Okay? All right, let's go. Yeah, well, let's go. Let's see whether we can do anything here. Stream. Stream. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Well, this and that. Yeah, yeah, we're going to see a little bit. I think something. Freedom of space.
Yeah.
What is making you exist in a phone booth which we don't have anymore? For Clark Kent, the phone booth was a gateway where he could be who he really is. All right. So what I'm asking a little bit of, you're letting somebody else paint a picture of who you are and you're living up to it. Okay, good. Listen up. Yeah, I respect your position, and yeah, I'll be who I need to be with you, but I'm dancing inside. Or maybe I'll change your perspective about what a hierarchy is. This guy, the 49ers guy, he's the last guy picked in the draft. He's sure relevant. How many scouts missed on it? Because he wasn't big enough. His arm strength was not. But what was interesting, he played baseball, right? And so, somebody says, there's Jimmy Garoppolo. But there's Murray with all these different arm angles because he had to develop it playing baseball, right? And quarterback, shortstop, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he came in here with different arm angles. Boom. Boom. Come on in. Or conversely here. I'm twisting harder. I don't think you got my hips moving in that much. So even though you're in a small space, you're cool. And you create a larger space around you. There's one game in college where the other team decided to double team Curry the whole game. How many points did he score? Who said? But the other team was playing, what, 3-on-5? Davidson won. Curry was cool. Hey, we won. Yeah, do it again. Right? It's cool. See what? 2 guys on me. What does that mean? The other 4 guys are playing 4-on-3, or I'm sure another guy's thinking about me over here. I'm in everybody's head. I'm cool. I'm not going to try to score 20 points today. What's that going to say? Isn't that cool? Right? So, it's an area right there. So again, looser, easier, freer. Freer. Little motion. Now you're trying a lot of little movements. Any little movement when it's done freely, you move for the sake. The hips move because they like movement. Yeah. You're moving the hips to get the technique, and that's another one of the weaknesses of form. You're coming to figure, boom, boom. How many different techniques? Boom, are there? Boom, boom. Every little switch of a muscle is a different move. Every little nerve impulse going in a different direction is a different move. And you could bring that together in an Ikkyo or a Sankyo or all right. Well, okay. Now, what we're going to do seems like it's totally in opposition to what we've been talking about, which is we're facing a situation where the number of in-person classes is much fewer than we would if we much were open in a regular dojo setting. It's like there's so many classes where you can work on your, your test material. Okay? So what I'm going to do is on Sundays, let's say roughly 12:30, 12:45, is work on your test stuff. And then the last 15 minutes, we'll try to get you back into what we're working on. Okay? Steve, I want you to work with Erwin, okay? Because he's wanting to kind of work on some stuff, okay? Everybody else, just, you know technique. If you got a question, I'll try to help you, okay? Would you work over here with her? Yeah. In other words, she would have a fifth cue, maybe take her through Shihonage or something. Okay? All right? Okay? All right. Go. Yeah. No, just at some point you probably will. Okay. It's not a great format for developing that. I just figured, it's 15 minutes. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, what? Oh. Yeah, but he's a little further on than her. Okay. And he's got a good partner. So I'm not, okay, but okay, all right. All right. Now you're on the surface of it. I have to feel my own, I have to feel me. Okay? Dean Diana Ridge said it. She's being interviewed. What if somebody cast you in a role that's so different from who you are? How do you handle that? He said, first thing I do is feel me and let it unfold. If I'm trying to do it out there, I should say this, and then feel me, and then all of a sudden, it comes through me. Okay? Yeah. In fact, when she was much younger than Emma Peel, when one of her directors said, it's almost like she's a medium. She's at the part, all the things are supposed to flow through her. Whatever. Easy. So, okay, I'm in the phone booth, but I forget why I'm in the, okay. I'm Clark, I need to be Superman. Okay, well, I'm in the phone booth. All right. There's too much weight. Total motion. Too much weight too quick. Right. Curry is very flexible. Maybe he can't be the defender for whatever reason. He passes the ball and moves off the ball. And when he's moving off the ball, two guys got to follow him. Somebody else is either going to get a great shot or he's going to get a shot because nobody can stay with him. Most of the time, he can break anybody down out the door. But he also pass the ball and even more dangerous. You don't know where he's going to be. Right? The defender's tying me up. Okay, I'll pass the ball, relocate. Got another movement. Got another movement. Got another movement. Easy. Easy. Go again. Easy. Easy. The first thing you go for is weight. You feel his weight. Your freedom with yourself. That's the key to everything. Other than that, you get caught up. You're in the phone booth. You don't know why you're there. Right? Why am I in the phone there? I gotta go save the world. I gotta transform into Superman here. That's the purpose of the phone booth. Oh, gee. All right. Little motions. little motion, boom, little motion, boom. And Curry is even better when you don't know where you give the ball up. You don't know where he's going to be. It's almost like, you know, beam me up, Scotty, beam me down. Where is Steph? Where'd he go? Oh no, he's wide open in the corner. Oh, 3-point shot, we lose. You know, he can get you on the ball and off the ball. He's dancing. So go, come on, go, go. No, you make an adjustment. Move, feel yourself, yes. Okay, all right, easier, freer. Yeah, one of the things right here, you know, how do I take them down? Boom. Big movement, little movement, big movement. Okay. Big movement, little movement. Yeah, boom, little movement. You gotta feel your own freedom before you get caught up in a form. Okay? Go again. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, and likewise, you know, let's say he's coming in without a chance. I don't like that style because it creates robotic movement. You know, if you're going to come in this, I'll go this way. What makes things happen cutting this way or that way? It's not always the form. The form is there just to get you to that place. All right? Or the form can make you robotic. Right here, what do I do? Okay, right? That's why it's hard. The form is just teach you to do that. But we get so caught up in the heaviness of the form that we lose ourselves. Okay, right? Keep going. Okay, now, one of the things, for example, that you're doing really well, swing the arms, turn the hips. Cover your face. Now, right here. Same movement. One. Now, step back. Good. Now, with your hip. That's fine. You can go that way. Go that way. But swing back. And then make that first motion. Small motion. Every second, big. Oh, okay, good. Now take your step. With your back foot. Good. Now turn around. Put it on my shoulder. That's where everybody freezes. Make your arms long. Arms long. Good. Now, turn your hip. Okay, good. See, what happens is that we create a trap right here. These are immovable. I'm trying to move something. I'm creating her to be immovable. If I move me, that's hard to teach. Because the key to form is freedom. Why does the form exist? Freedom can turn into chaos pretty easily. So we have a form. Well, what's the purpose of the form is to give a certain amount of structure for us to feel ourselves. And if it's more than that, it gets in the way. See what I mean? So when you're moving, when you are, it's almost like your hips move. Yeah, I'm trying to help you. Don't you move, just let me move you right here. Now, try to move that way without me coaching you. Just move. Yeah. Where is your power? Well, your power really is in your mind. Mind controls body. But the mind gets too caught up in The structure is not free anymore, therefore it loses a lot of its power. Right? So if she comes under structure, they'll just like, oh, now right here, I make it strong, right? Yeah. The inferior movement. You've got to be able to dance to do this movement. And sometimes this movement gets so robotic that it loses its purpose. You see what I mean? You put your hand out, turn your hip, step back, step back. Good, very good. Now, when we make it into a form, yes. Well, put your hand out again, and turn your hip, step back. Okay, good. If you put your weight into that, your weight and my weight clash. Energy can be measured, but it's not measured in terms of weight. You see? I get that. Good defender in basketball. Stephen Curry does something that's his job. How do you do that? Well, he's Stephen Curry. I don't make $50 million a year for doing this in person. He looser, freer. Okay, good. Now step back. Okay, good. What you do? A small move that sets the big move to step back. You're staying loose, easy, calm. There's a very stupid world out there. We get stuck into roles. Women oftentimes are, victims of gender inequality. There's a bunch of crap out there. Okay? Within that, how do you change people's view? You see, you don't fall into you're looser, you're freer. The hips turn, and then you step back. You're good. The second you put your weight into moving me, I put my weight into not being moved. But when you start to move the little movement setting up the big movement, all of a sudden, my sense of you changes. If I'm stupid, it takes a lot of that. I say, wow. Okay, right? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I was just thinking, especially on Sundays, we could do a little bit more of that. Just keeping the regular. The regular practice oftentimes is around doing a particular form. Okay? But Osensei put it this way. There's a world of form, which is the world of appearances. In Japanese, it has a term. It's called the genkai. And then deeper than that, oftentimes the unseen world is the yukai. It's a world of energy movement. And then deeper than that is what's called the shinkai, the world of spirit. Okay? Now, what tends to happen is the world of appearances is very heavy. You're born into an economic structure. Okay? But I want to be a billionaire. You probably won't be. Doesn't mean you can't be. But oftentimes there's a weight. We're born into a situation. So people that kind of jump strata, Stan Lee started out as an errand boy for a comic book company. And in 4 years, he was writing comics. Then he became the editor, and then he created the whole Marvel universe, okay, which is pretty major these days. If you don't like comic books, you're inundated with Marvel. That all came out of this one guy. He started as an errand boy in the office of a comic book company. Okay? It's true. Stan Lee. Why? Because there's a lot that was not apparent about him. And yeah, it went from errand boy to, somebody who was maybe starting to write, and then all of a sudden, he was running everything. Well, somehow he was, he was an own version of dancing. He created Captain America, he created Spider-Man. It was like, oh, characters like that didn't really exist before he did it. It was, okay. So anyway, everybody up, stretch. Okay. Come on in. Good. Now, right here, this is where it gets tough. This is where Curry is facing a defender that's really tough. They're usually bigger, more athletic. Okay. You can get it. You can usually get his shot anyway. Okay. Now, right here, for example, before this, there's that. Now, we do get to here where Uke has a lot of weight. Yeah. The whole game is how you deal with Uke's weight. Okay? Now think of it. You're my dance teacher, and I come in with 2 left feet. And when you try to teach me to dance, I step over your feet. You're not going to want to teach me, are you? On the other hand, all of a sudden, I'm a total monster that way. So I start to learn how to dance. I may never be Fred Astaire, but I go, yeah, that's kind of cool. It's lighter, clear. In fact, there's a whole dimension of me that I don't have to be this way. So that's the purpose of Aikido. Well, one of them, okay? Moving back, now right here. What do I do here? Now right here, we get to this inevitable point where we put the hand here, and then we feel the weight, then we put our weight here. The little movement that sets up the big movement. The big movement is the world of form, but it's a heavy world. It's heavy and big. And Curry runs into that every day. Everybody's bigger, more athletic. Mr. Irrelevant. The people that are chasing him around are bigger, faster. And he kind of slithers to make a play. A wonderful type of thing. So we'll hear. Okay? So let's just take the Shihonage, which is a good form movement. Now let's just see, because let's switch to the Yokomen attack. Okay? In pairs, okay, this is going to be a group practice, not just everybody work their own thing. Okay? It's important. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go in the A. Oh shit. Lay an egg. Yes. Yeah. Where to go? Yeah, one of the things right here, for example, let's just go. You're here now. Stand up straight. Somebody's strong and straight, and they go. Same thing. This is a big movement on you. Your freedom. Osensei would come in and watch the class, and he would clap, and he'd call everybody out because there's a min, all you are is trying to get into this contest of who's stronger. You know, people do not care the women. As he would say that. Why? Because, you know, you're not, I mean, in some cases, maybe they're strong these days. You know, people do powerlifting, whatever. But mainly, you know, you've got your hips. Women sort of understand the power of creation that way. And, you know, men get a little too heady, you know, get too shoulder like that. So he said, yeah, the only people practicing Aikido here is the women. And Mary said, yeah, that was a whoa, you know, because you know, she was a woman trying to train to get strong. And those things. Yeah, the only people doing Aikido here are the women there. And they're being ignored. Okay. So one of the things, you know, let's say you come up to, you know, this position, you rotate your hips first. It's a little most. No, either way, good now. You step back. Now the other foot. Okay, just a little practice to get the form. Okay, but we don't want to get too programmed. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Now you. Good. Now, okay. Now, right there. If you can't see to swing the arms, turn the hips. Okay, good. Now take your step. That's put that one back. All right. Oh, no, put that foot back. Come on. This foot, step. This one? Here. Right. Good. Okay, now turn around. And right about there is going big, heavy, and stupid. Okay. Yep. Oh, good. Yeah. Go back. Whole purpose of it is, you know, to some degree, you know, we all have to confront our own stupidity. So that when I get heavy, I get stupid. Okay. And the number one thing that I got was, I can't do it. Okay. The one thing about clothes is, you know, most of the time, you know, get somebody kind of pissed off. They get too heavy. You really piss him off. He gets calmer. And then they call him the baby face assassin. Right? You see the assassin. Okay, if you want to play that, I'm going to absolutely destroy you. Right? And you don't think I can? Well, I can't. All right? It's got that area, but he doesn't lose it. He's dancing. It's just like, you want to see what dancing is about? Then okay, piss me off. You see what I mean? Most people that are too heavy, they get upset. They get violent, but most people get heavy and they get stupid. They lose perspective on everything, and Curry doesn't. Okay, that's what you want to play? Good, bring it on. Because your power, you know where your power is. You don't get heavier when everything gets stupid. You go, okay, that's your, yeah, you amp it up from a different area, don't you? There's power there. Your power, but your power is inside you. It's not that you got to act it out there, right? That's why I essentially like women training. Okay? And he felt fun. And then what happened after he died, you know, finally a lot of that was kind of forgotten. Mary said, you know, since they was there, his energy was alive. It made everybody better. You know, when he died, he's not physically around anymore. Everything got kind of really dense and heavy. That's why she went to Singu, because what things were a little different there. Okay? Right? Anyway, keep going. Yeah. Now, one thing right there, okay, he's going to come in this way. Rotate your hip. Rotate your hip, step back. Now he's also, now, swing along and rotate your hip. Okay? So, yeah, that's nice. Okay. All right. Nice, easy zone. Your dancing goes. The beginnings of dance. That's okay. I don't want you to say, this is Aikido. It's not, then the Budo purists are correct. You know, you're getting gold. But, you know, if you're too tense, you can't dance. You got to be loose. All right? Not sloppy. Most people, when they get loose, they get sloppy. You see what I mean? it's still Budo in that way, but it's transformative Budo. Okay? All right?
I can. Does it have a old lady?
Oh, really?
And then they do this, and then they open the fan. I think I'll go to that.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, the whole thing, you know, I mean, you know, I studied with a lady named Yamamoto, and she was a good friend of Osensei, and Osensei said, your dancing is like my Aikido. And so, you know, I was married, and my wife at that time, you know, she wanted to, you know, so we studied a little bit with Yamamoto. He was really old. So, you know, she had a niece that would do that, but she would instruct, right? But one day, you know, there was a martial arts song, Tsugata Sanshiro, or judo movie, judo song, and she put that on. And this little old lady that never moved, but just kind of, she was doing drum kicks that touched the ceiling of the Japanese room. Yeah. She just totally transformed. I was like, and it was really funny because, you know, my wife said, you know, that, you know, Hikijutsu Sensei would go like this. And Yamamoto Sensei would go like that. Yamamoto Sensei, boom. No, I mean, she could be really scary, you know, but she was just easy, you know. What? No. She did dance like Osensei did Aikido. That was Osensei's right? Yeah. And, you know, what he was good. But Yamamoto Sensei was. Okay? Yeah, all right. Yeah, you know, one of the things, obviously, we've been talking about dance. Okay, so one thing that I kind of want to mention was when Jenny's mom and I were in Japan in 1977, Sarah was a dancer. And she studied dance, okay? She was a dancer. And then, of course, she married me and went on to a different track. But what happened is there was a lady in Shingu, Yamamoto Shiso, Yamamoto Sensei. She was a dance teacher. And she was a good friend of Osensei. And they would oftentimes at festivals and everything, they would be there together where Osensei would do an Aikido demonstration and she would do, you know, the Japanese classical dance. Okay. And what Osensei told her, he said, you know, your dance is like my Aikido. And so, you know, we actually, Sarah and I, we I was horrible, by the way. But, you know, Sarah wanted to study with her, so I went with her and we would do the dance lessons. And you know, what was interesting with her is she was in her 80s. And, you know, at that time when we met her, she was just sitting and her niece would do the instruction, but she would add certain fine points, you know. And so we never really saw her do any dance except once. And what happened is a song that accompanied a martial arts movie, Tsugata Sanshiro. And what happened is, you know, she's just a little old lady. And she puts the dance music on. And she gets up and she does a dance, but it's a martial arts dance. And, you know, the ceilings are low in Japanese houses, but they're still ceilings, right? And she's in a kimono, you know, and she starts doing jump kicks and touching the ceiling with her foot. And it was like, what did Osensei mean when he said, your dancing is like my Aikido? Well, according to the Do Sensei, there was Reshiba, the old man, who would walk into walls. And then there was Ueshiba of Aikido that nobody could touch when he was in that zone, that place, right? And so it was almost like, there's the old lady. The old lady, just still present, instructing more verbally, but she would do gestures. And you go, oh, there's something in the way she's moving that you try to put into your dance, right? But what was, with the way Sarah put it, was interesting because, she said, there's Hikizuchi sensei, 10th degree black belt, like that. And there's Yamamoto sensei. And, the point that Sarah says, she's scarier than this 10th degree black belt. She can go, she can go from the old lady, right, to the person that Osensei said, your dancing is like my Aikido. Ueshiba, the old man walking into walls, and Ueshiba, Aikido, could dodge bullets, And she was this old lady. Honest to God, this was like amazing. One of the most amazing things I saw in Japan, out of many amazing things, was how this little old lady, when she put the music on, transformed. And from somebody who was not moving and teaching with gesture to kicking the ceiling in her 80s. That was amazing. Okay? And, one of the things about that, obviously, she knew the forms of the dance that she passed on to her niece. I thought Noriko was really cool. Okay? She was a good teacher. I asked Hikizuchi Sensei, what do you think of Noriko? She says about a showdown. Because he knew, he didn't say much about Yamamoto Sensei, because he knew that was Osensei territory. Yeah, she's a lady, says he's about a showdown. Good showdown. But Yamamoto Sensei, we could just do a little gesture. Little gesture. So when she went like this, the room shook. That's power. Okay. And that's a little bit, when we're saying, the structure of the form. Listen up, free yourself. That culture is really an interesting, because most people get very rigid within the form. But then you get Osensei in martial arts, and you get Yamamoto Sensei in traditional Japanese dance. I've never seen anything like it. This little old lady all of a sudden is throwing jump kicks and touching the ceiling with her foot. Then she goes back, and she's a little old lady again. And so when we kind of look at it that way, what is Aikido? Aikido is transformation. Sensei insisted. He told me about something. I said, anybody can do this. It's so easy, but I can't give it to you. And so, what it tends to be is we get caught up in the world of appearances. Hidden world. After a while, what? It's almost like the music was like the world of spirit. After a while, why do you do that? Because spirit moves. Well, I'm going to twist the hips to move. Spirit moves. Spirit moves. That's why when she went like that, she went right through me. That little old lady is really powerful, right? And so, when we do that, we kind of take Aikido into its proper perspective. That it's a martial art, good. Yes, people who go past the norm in whatever they do, whether it's Stephen Curry in this culture or who's coming up as the Mr. Irrelevant guy, the 49ers, they dance. They transform a sport, a competitive, win at all costs thing, into a dance. Okay? And if you're dancing with somebody, if somebody is really good, they include other people in their dance energy. Essentially, it was like that. But they created the art, and you've got to go past the form of it. Okay? Anyway, since we're there, I know this is kind of irregular, but kind of good. And thank you very much. Let's see, most of you know this if you've been reading the news and the blogs and everything, but Steve, stand up. And David, stand up. We're both over the New Year's promoted to 5th degree black belt. Okay, so we've done this with Harry Sensei, so maybe something could be organized to kind of honor them, you know, okay? Also, if you talk to Meng, I know she's dealing with the death of her father, but she needs to apply for the Sandan, because we discussed that earlier. I know I don't want to say do this because grief, family members' loss. You just got to process it, and I'm like, oh, come on, do this. But if you could sort of subtly say that we're thinking of you, we know you're here in spirit, and whether you come to the dojo or not, because that's in its time, grief. Okay. Yanasa Sensei, I go to Japan, his father dies. All right. And in that culture, you do major loss like that, he had to take 6 months off. We didn't see him at the dojo for 6 months. That's that culture. We're a little freer here. But processing events is important. Okay? So if you could maybe tell Meng we're thinking about her, she's here in spirit, and that at some point she needs to get her Sandan stuff ready. Okay? Well, okay, thank you. Let's go.